Here's the mini lesson template. You're familiar with this. It doesn't have anything different. It just has a few things that you don't have to do. Now, if we go to the various sections and unpack what that might look like for this task. So if we have a look at that, the header remains the same. Now, your curricular intentions, well, it won't be just your content descriptor, but it'll also be context and your process and production skills, because that's going to be one of the key learnings that you're doing. So ensure that you include both of those things there. Now, the big idea. What is it that you want the students to take away? What is it they want to walk out and really know in a more comprehensive way? Well, that's what you need to obviously express in your big idea. That will align really well with your goals. And the significant goals really will talk to the big idea, and they're actually giving detail to the big idea. And the context and production skills will also speak to that area. But also the last one is about, know, do, will come back and you'll see the doing in your Explore phase and your lesson plans. But what's the value that you want them to hold out of this exercise? So those areas are often filled in without really a deep thought, and I encourage you to think deeply on those things. Next is having a look at, how would you put a hook onto this area? What is it will get them fully engaged? Often I say connect it to the student's world. Bring, have a discussion. Bring an article that it's current. Watch a video about these things, or even bring an object in to demonstrate, or a model, or something tangible they can touch and feel. Connect them to this world of how our things are designed. So what's next that we're going to have a look at? And that's obviously the Explore phase. And because it's an extended lesson, or it's a couplet of lessons, I believe you will have multiple phases and multiple activities throughout this area. Because that's pretty important to step this out to make sure that your learning intentions are really clear and you're achieving your goals. So I've asked you here, what scaffolds would you consider you might use to guide the students in this task? What will you put around them? What are your things, instructional things you might do, or conceptual ideas you might have alongside your normal resources that you will include in this? An area is often underdone is the review and conclude phase. So I'm going to pose this question to you. How would you organize in order to maximize your learning in terms of your review and conclude phase? Or would you would have multiple review phases along the way? Now, those areas, because that really consolidates and gets the students to what they call a metacognitive, that is to reflect, think, and synthesize information. So I expect that would be done well. Now, as you go through here, if you're doing one extended lesson, well, obviously you only have one header, as I call them, and you'll have these extended Explore and perhaps single or multiple review phases. If you're doing a couplet of lessons, I'm not asking you to redo the header at all, unless there's a different intent in your second lesson. If it's the same intent, then no, that can be just the one. So that you will have, obviously, then multiple gauge, explore, and review phases if you're doing a pair of lessons along the way. So hopefully this helps you understand how you'll use your mini lesson template and apply it to the task that you're asked in task 2.